there was a gathering of the four divines of choice, and they were so coming together to celebrate and congratulate one of their own. In the universe, there are many energies that work together to bring forth the desire of Source itself. And so they were gathering around this planet, and they were looking to see how they were being lived by the planet's beings. So together, there was cleansing, detachment, there was honesty, and there was courage. Because these work together so harmoniously to allow those who are choosing to live them to then move forward and be able to more clearly live love, acceptance, compassion, and gratitude. Now, while you may see that these are all mixed and intermingled, yet the fact is that in order for us to actually be able to live the latter four with a greater exuberance, there has to be the choices made to cleanse, to be honest, to detach. And then if you want to bring in detachment's little sister, let go. But all of these have to have at their base, at the very core of their essence, courage. And that's because we have become so weighted down with energies that are not really in harmony with our true nature. So if you take into account the desire to be honest, sometimes that is a challenge. And it's a challenge because we have been so programmed not to be honest unless, of course, it's convenient. And most of the time it isn't convenient, therefore we do not practice being honest. But if you think about it, it takes courage to be honest. But if you do bring that courage forth, then you're going to be able to be truer to yourself. And that's because you're going to be more honest to recognize what is and what isn't truth to you. It also helps you to actually step forward and with honesty realize that expressing is what you came here to do. But what we often wind up doing is shutting that down by suppressing. And it requires of us the courage to move beyond that suppression. Because the fact is, the only moment that we have to live is this moment now. Now, if you get to a place of being honest with yourself, then I'm going to encourage you, as they would, to do what scares you. To go ahead and face your fears. And realize that in your being honest, you're going to come to a place of seeing, I'm at a point now where I can do the things that I came here to do. And all of us have. And sometimes that really does require courage. So courage is going to work right there with you in your honesty to get to that place of living what you came here to do. And then the courage to take responsibility for the results. Sometimes it is that we want to do what we want to do, but we don't want to have any connection with the aftermath. And sometimes it is an aftermath. So then we get to that place of seeing, all right, I need to come to a place of seeing I have the opportunity now, because I'm giving myself permission now to do what I came here to do. We have to get out of our heads, because you see our heads are going to jump right in there and say, okay, we have to do it this way. We have a plan, and we have to stick to the plan. And we have to live that plan moment by moment, and we need to live it right now and get it all figured out, and that is the surest way to kill it before it ever gets up and running. You see, there's something zen and very wise about not taking it to the absolute end by talking it to death. before you ever get to the point of living it. I have had so many opportunities to have brilliant ideas spring forth, and then only to kill them before the egg ever came to a point of hatching, because I just talked them to death. But it's a good way to learn of detaching from that, so that you can then put yourself in a position of bringing in the other part, and that is letting go. Letting go of assuming that you have to know everything beforehand. Or even letting go of believing that you do know. You see, if you can ever come to the place of really accepting that you know nothing. Did I stop speaking to... You see, this is where courage is then once again brought in. Because you find the courage to trust that everything will be okay, even if you don't know everything beforehand. Courage is such a wonderful choice to incorporate in being honest, in letting go, in detachment, so that you can come to a place of, now here's a real possibility, that is stepping out over the chasm. And that is choosing to live purposefully lost. I know. Isn't that such an empty space? But you see, the fact is that when we open ourselves up and choose to be purposefully lost, we open ourselves up to trust in our higher selves. We actually open ourselves up to the possibility of tuning into those guiding influences that work with us so that we can hear them as they whisper messages to us at the right time. So many times, even in my line of work, I have people come up to me and say, I want to know beforehand. They don't want to hear what I have to say, and that is, you will know, but it will only be in the moment. I know, isn't that a killer? Okay, and then we come to the other sister, and that is the other divine, and that is cleanse. Think about it now. There are so many different layers that you need to shed, that you actually need to get rid of. So many ideas that are counterproductive. So many old patterned behaviors that do not really allow you to get into the flow of living a higher selection of vibrancy, of energy. So, shed your pain. Shed your fear. Go ahead, have this be a cleansing process. Then you can be in a position to bring a better version of you forward. And all of us have those versions. We just have them usually stuffed so far in the back of the closet, and we keep bringing out the same old jokers again and again until finally we realize that living those old versions are really counterproductive, and we need to cleanse ourselves of them. Then we can actually step into that dimension of living what we came here to do. Then we can actually step up, we can shine, we can feel good about our own radiance. We can actually make friends with ourselves. I know that is such a novel concept. Somebody should write a book about it. So, get to know yourself better. You see, this courage choice brings you to a place of actually being able to embrace your own vulnerability, to where you can touch yourself in such a meaningful way, such a compassionate way, that you step into that place of greater ease with your insecurities, your uncertainties, as well as with your hopes, your wishes, your dreams. See, because while we may feel afraid of fear, sometimes we don't realize what that fear is all about. Most people never even get to the place of realizing that they're afraid of fear. They only say, I'm afraid, if they ever get to that point of honesty. But it's a step-by-step progression. Because if we keep choosing to be honest in ourselves and find the courage to take it to the next step, then we come to a place of realizing our greatest fear is that we are powerful. Because you see, when you start opening yourself up to the realization and the actual expression of power, you realize that it carries with it a weight of responsibility. Because what you do affects. It affects you, it affects others. So sometimes we find that we are keeping company with a select but very meaningful group of divines. And today's lecture is to applaud and salute them as they have been brought forth here today, but to also realize you have the courage to bring forth anything that you so choose. It's simply a matter of first opening yourself up honestly, being willing to detach and let go, and then purge yourself of the things that no longer serve you, that are hindering you, and then go on with your courage and choose to live what you came here to live. Thank you.
For more information about the Metaphysical Church of Enlightenment or the Rodin Foundation, please go to our website at www.rodin.org. If you have been inspired by the revelations shared in these podcasts, please donate to the Rodin Foundation's ongoing efforts to help others help themselves at www.rodin.org/donate.